before we get in the program, Holly, it's time for this week's joke of the week.
But
Not yet. You have to say the joke first, and then the
What happened to the plant in math class?
What happened to the plant in math class? First of all, I think we're thinking too deep. Plant shouldn't be in math class, but go ahead.
It grew square roots. I can't talk. It grew square roots.
Okay, and we have a bonus one for you. Normally have one, but the last couple of times we've had two. What did the sweet potato say to the pumpkin?
I am what I am.
There you go. This week's joke of the week is brought to you by
Rescue.com, American-made rescue products. Keep your family, home, and yard protected from pests, insects, and wasps, hornets, yellow jackets, flies, ants, and more. Learn more at rescue.com. That's RESCUE.com.
So there is a lot of information in the world, in books and on the internet, that are very beneficial to us as gardeners. However, in the age of, and I guess this was before the age of the internet, there was, information passed down that wasn't scientifically proven, wasn't completely accurate, though there's parts of it. So we're going to go over a couple of those parts of it and explain, it's kind of right, but there's a lot of wrong to it. So I'm going to start with this, Holly. The Three Sisters Garden. The premise is you grow corn as the vertical item, you grow pole beans as a nitrogen fixer, and you grow squash as a shade cover or mulch.
Yeah, so but there's so that's
what the premise is. That is what people say, here's why you're doing it.
Right. And then people went further and said that the beans were putting nitrogen back into the soil to feed the corn. And this is not true. So yes, the beans, the benefit is the ground cover, the stalk of the corn to be the trellis, and then the beans to grow up the trellis. That's fine. That makes sense. Is it always going to work out that way? It might not, but that's okay.
Some people do peas instead of beans too.
Yeah.
But the purpose, yes, beans.
But by the time the peas get big enough to grow up the corn stalk, they're not going to be good.
No, right. But the actuality of this is, yes, beans do create nitrogen and infuse it in the soil.
But it takes a long time.
It takes up to 5 years to have readable measurements of nitrogen infused in the soil.
And also, it's not like it doesn't just stay in one spot because of rain, because of microorganisms, etc. So it's not like the beans are like, okay, I'm going to fix the nitrogen into the soil and it's going to stay in this exact one plot. That's not how it works. So it does work. The premise of the Three Sisters does work phenomenal, having three items kind of grown in one spot. But the execution or the answer to that is incorrect. Beans are for the corn is the trellis for the beans. So if you want to grow corn in your backyard or wherever, you do want to make sure that your soil is very high in nitrogen.
It sucks the juice out. Yeah, it really.
So you can do this. A lot of people do this. I think it's a really great and cool concept. But just keep in mind that you are going to have to affix nitrogen in your soil to get that corn to successfully grow. A lot of people will grow, their own sweet corn or like a popcorn. It is an option, but just keep that in mind. And and the ground cover is right, and beans and etc.
Next one, blossom end rot. I put Tums in the hole at the time of planting, and the Tums prevents the blossom end rot. Now, if you was with us last year, season 8, episode 1, you can find that at our parent website, the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com, or any podcast platform. Just search the Garden with Joey and Holly radio show. We had garden mythbuster Robert Polovis on, and he addressed this, and shocking information, because he's tested that. This is what he does for a living. You would need 80 Tums per tomato plant, assuming that you do have low calcium. You would need 80 Tums underneath each tomato plant to affix the correct amount of calcium correction in the soil for your plants to accurately grow correctly. Now, you need a soil test first from soilsavvy.com or growsmart.com in order to figure out if you have a calcium deficiency. If you do, other plants will tell you. But 80 Tums, what is actually occurring when you have blossom end rot? That is the blackening portion under the ripening fruit of a tomato.
Yeah, so blossom end rot is basically lack of access to calcium in your soil. So it's not lack of. I mean,
you could have all the calcium in the soil in the world, but it's locked out. It can't get to it.
So what happens? This happens to most people. Is you plant your tomatoes in the spring, late spring, early summer, whatever you want to call it, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to water them in, and then we get some rain, so you don't think about watering, and the plants are doing fine, and then we get to the first harvest, and typically it's you get a little less rain at that point in the summer. So your first tomato fruiting has blossom end rot. And people are like, add Tums or add
powdered milk, or liquid milk,
or Epsom salt or whatever.
Well, Epsom salt is not even the right.
Right, but anyway, people will give you some sort of remedy that you need to water it in, and so then you're like, oh, it worked, but it worked because you watered it in. You gave the water into the soil, and then unlocked those nutrients and allowed the problem to fix itself.
Whether you're no matter what method of growing you are doing, you will always be. The soil is always drier than what you think it is.
Yeah, absolutely. So the way to fix this is obviously to water regularly. If you can afford a irrigation system to invest in, that's a really great option. Otherwise, just put yourself on a timer, a routine, a schedule, whatever it may be, and you can water every Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, or whatever works for you. I mean, obviously, if it rains, keep in mind that you might want something like a rain gauge because you might think, oh, that was a lot of rain, but it was only like a quarter inch.
Yeah. And make sure the soil is moist whenever you water it. Eggshells are producing calcium for my tomatoes and other plants.
I mean, it's not a lie, but it's about how they get the eggshells. So if you just start popping hand crushed eggshells into the planting hole, will it work? Yeah, but it'll take a long time.
12 to 18 months is what it will take in order to get the soil or the calcium to break down to a usable form.
Right. So you want to maybe pulverize the tomatoes.
Not the tomato, the eggshell.
The eggshells. Otherwise, just toss them with your compost. It's going to just add to your compost, and it's a better...
And it's so minute, though.
It's very minute, yes. You got to eat a lot of eggs.
Let's go with soap, CDs, tin pans, scaring deer away.
I mean, this might work. If you plant, people will hang like
bing, papa bing type.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And it might annoy you. And the CDs are because they're reflective. If you don't know what a CD is, I'm just kidding.
It's a tiny record that's shiny.
But CDs are reflective. So you want to keep that in mind. So when they move in the sunlight, they scare the deer.
But also there's a certain point where the deer are curious enough going, that's not really a hazard. That's not a threat to me. It's just something shiny. I'm going to keep eating the peas and the berries.
Right. And on like a cloudy day, they're not going to care. The soap theory is a certain type of soap. I think it's Irish, whatever.
Yeah, it's supposed to, the smell.
Yeah, the smell. I don't know how effective that is. But the thing to keep in mind, however you're keeping pests out of your garden, they're not going to, if they want the food bad enough, they're just going to go for it.
Right.
Yeah.
And we've had guests on where the more desirable plants, if you are in an area where you have deer problems, for instance, put those more desirable plants in the center and the less desirable ones around the perimeter. And there are organic methods of like rose bushes and those type of plants in order to put around the perimeter. There are organic means of deterrents that are not going to, they'll keep the deer away.
Like a moat with alligators in it.
Yeah, that would work too.
Yeah. But so if you do deal with pests, whether it be deer, rabbits, if you can have some sort of fencing, that's going to be ideal. But you can try different things. I just keep in mind that if that's their only food option, they're going to go for it.
Real quickly, companion planting. You go online, you type in companion planting and look for a chart. There's 37 charts and 34 different things on the 37 charts, and nothing makes sense.
So you don't have to companion plant necessarily. You can do like inter-row planting. I think it's called
intercropping.
Intercropping, thank you. Where you grow radishes among the tomatoes, and because the radishes grow in 30 days, they'll be fine until the tomatoes get too tall to shade them out. Things like that.
Where you can also take, and where you're growing squash, put rosemary or basil plants around it to mask the smell of the zucchini to keep the squash vine borer from embedding the larvae in the stem. So you're using two plants. Yes, you're companion planting, but not in the aspect of, I plant this next to this and it makes it sweeter. It's the term companion planting has been all twisted around.
Right. So when you look at these charts or whatever, you want to make sure that there's some actual applicable logic versus what just sounds good.
Well, what sounds good is waltonsinc.com.
Yeah, we are brought to you today by Walton's Inc. Listen, we know you care about where your food comes from. Canning and preserving your fruits and vegetables is great, but what about the meat? At waltonsinc.com, you can get all the equipment, seasoning, and supplies to make sausage, jerky, and any other meat product your way to your high standards. Do you want to make snack sticks that people will actually like? Walton's created meatgistics.com, an informational site to help you go from edible to animal with the best finished
animal
products.
to edible.
Animal to edible.
There you go.
Yeah. They have their full line of meat grinders, mixers, sausage stuffers, and more. Walton's everything but the meat. You can use code GROW50, that's GROW50, to save 10% off your orders of $50 or more. That's at waltonsinc.com.